treatment to launch a vile, personal, malicious attack against a member of this opposition. It was not a critique of policy as the budget should be. It was not a vigorous debate on issues. It was a calculated assault designed not to inform, but to demean, not to challenge ideas, but to damage character. And sir, Mr. Speaker, what is worrying is the Deputy Speaker sat there and watched silently. And when I looked at him, he was grinning all through the performance. This, Mr. Speaker, is the very definition of abuse. It is the converse of ethical behavior, Dr. Singh, you lectured us about. It demonstrates a stunning lack of respect. He claims we must encourage. How can one speak of love, Dr. Singh, and respect for each other while simultaneously spewing venom at a colleague? Yes, we are all colleagues in this House. What is that, Mr. Speaker? The minister's actions reveal a simple, ugly truth. His speech was not a genuine call for national virtue. It was a performance, a shield of pleasant words, hastily erected to cover the ugliness of his own conduct. He seeks to prescribe for the nation a medicine he himself is not willing to take. This contrast fatal to his message. This contrast is fatal to his own message. You cannot build a one Guyana on a foundation of personal bitterness in the People's Assembly. You cannot cultivate harmonious living while sowing discord and disrespect in the highest form of our land. You cannot credibly claim to dislike harassment while being the most prominent expert on harassment in these chambers. If you ask me, the Minister of Finance is guilty of wanton abuse in this National Assembly. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I reject his sermon not for its content, but for its ugly two-facedness. If the minister is sincere, he truly believes the eloquent words he read last week, then I believe he should offer an apology to the honorable member. Mr. Speaker, he demonstrates the civility in our daily interactions applies even and especially to those whom he disagrees.
Mr. Speaker.
Honorable member, Mr. Schuman.
Mr. Speaker, I rise on a point of order. Point of order 38.6, and I think it is a matter that my colleague, Minister Manik Chan, brought up earlier, that the standing orders are clear. One should not proceed to read a speech. It is a debate, Mr. Speaker. And I thought I'd raise that for you. Thank you.
Honorable member, Ms. Natasha Singh, I don't recognize the particular point of order. I'll give you back your minute.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Speaker, Schuman seeks relevance. He's not relevant in the communities from where he comes from. Mr. Speaker, let me share. Mr. Speaker, let me share a closer look at the budget itself against the glossy promises made. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me share a closer look at the budget itself against the glossy promises made. As a public servant who served both governments, sir, in senior management levels, I am obliged to evaluate the measures as against the Sustainable Development Goals, benchmarks to which our nation has pledged itself. The SDGs are a concrete roadmap for eradicating poverty, protecting our people, and building a just society. They are the very report card for government's commitment to its citizens. And since the budget theme is putting people first, which in my opinion is a farce, we should endeavor to examine the measures that will better the lives of the people. According to the IDB report in 2025, approximately 58% of Guyana's estimated population lives in poverty. That is almost 452,000 persons. Now what emerges after a cursory look at the estimates with billions per ministry, particularly the dire state of social services sector, a devastating picture emerges. It is a picture of profound neglect, a glittering financial allocation that floats over a sinking foundation of human needs. This budget demonstrates inequality, which really is a demonstration of two Guyanas and not one Guyana. It provides tax breaks for vehicle owners. Yeah, the four-door pickup thing is popular. Don't get me wrong, sir. I believe everybody should drive a Volvo and a Prado, etc., like the ministers at some point. We should have people driving Lamborghini like the boss himself. Yes, Mr. Speaker, the tax breaks are also for the manufacturers and agro-processors who are considered the haves. In the same way, this budget also provides minimum to the have-nots, like the measures of 1500cc vehicle. And we support that, sir. We are grateful. But it does nothing. It does nothing to bridge the gap between the haves and the have-not. It does not attack the root causes, the geographic apartheid that denies hinterland residents basic service, and the economic apartheid that locks the poor out of asset ownership, except if you're selling chocolate in the primary school and you can create generational wealth, and the social apartheid that leaves the elderly and disabled in destitution. Mr. Speaker, 78-year-old David Trahane, also known as Perkins, from the Palms Geriatric Home, didn't have to fall through the floors and subsequently died because of the neglect of the facilities. Mr. Speaker, the same minister at the same ministry for 5 years, and simple things like fixing the flooring of the facility could not get done. Poor pensioner died as
Honorable, I'm hearing shouts of shame, one of the words which is unparliamentary.
My apologies, sir. A poor pensioner had to die, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when we are going to hold these ministers accountable, when are we going to hold them accountable for the death of our people because of their negligence in this case? Mr. Speaker, I speak of negligence broadly, but I want to say that this is more than negligence. This is incompetence. A human died, a pensioner died as a result of the flooring not being fixed. Mr. Speaker, I speak of Mr. Perkins, who died in 2025 of the budget measures for the pensioners. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Perkins was a pensioner. He died as a result of neglect, and he felt his death. Mr. Speaker, I want to mention the increase that is being touted for pensioners. Mr. Speaker, the increase is $5,000. If we divide that by 30 or even 31, Mr. Speaker, so that we can see what a pensioner's increase per day is. Mr. Speaker, that is equivalent to approximately $160 per day per pensioner. And that is how they say this budget is for the people. $160, Mr. Speaker, what do you think $160 can buy? It can't buy a pack of tennis roll because that is $400. It can't buy a small bottle of drinks because that is $260. When I look around the supermarket, Mr. Speaker, one pack of Dixie for $160. This is what the pensioner is getting on the increase in this $1 trillion budget. Mr. Speaker, in this oil-producing nation, we need to do better. I looked around and I thought about what the Minister Edgell is talking about. This is the budget for the people. $160 a day per pensioner. That is the travesty that we're dealing with. Mr. Speaker, this is a budget that creates special development zones while ignoring the disaster zones in our depressed communities. And that is a recipe to further divide our society, sir, which I dare say is dangerous for Guyana. I am pleading with the ministers to visit Parika Fasad, one of the communities right here in Georgetown, behind the Chinese embassy. Visit Port Kaituma waterfront. Mr. Speaker, when you go to Mabaruma and you see late in the evenings, the little children by the shop side, nowhere to go, nothing to eat or sleep in large numbers, it breaks your heart. Mr. Speaker, doesn't the Amerindians deserve the facilities just like the coastlanders? Where are the care facilities? The night and day care facilities for the Amerindian people? Mr. Speaker, our children deserve better. My colleagues will address in greater details the issue of poor governance, inept leadership, and the lack of accountability and transparency. But I'd like to focus through that same lens the performance of the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security and its ability to put people first, then to propose a few recommendations. Mr. Perkins was not one of the persons that they choose to put first. He died as a result of their negligence. Mr. Speaker, firstly, it was amazing the complaints we received. I received. The senior qualified staff with the institutional memory have left when people who hold master's degrees and employed at the band 12 and 13 of the public service leave. It is not the money, sir. Most times, it is them safeguarding their mental health. This minister, Mr. Speaker, and I don't want to make it personal, because in 2024, after my budget speech, she accosted me outside on the halls because she thought I was being personal. This minister changed 4 permanent secretaries. That's a fact. Oh man, isn't that bad? Why? The social services program is a mess, Mr. Speaker, and nobody will tell the minister that. I don't know how she's going to know. I have to do that. Speaker, the lower levels of staff who said to me that staff are leaving because of the incompetence and the nepotism from the leadership of the ministry. Sir, let me remind this House that the staff in 2022 wrote demanding that the minister resigns. Mr. Speaker, let me say to you, the initial review of this sector points to the following: a high turnover of staff at the ministry. Most of the technical staff are leaving at alarming rates. Billions of dollars passing through social services program I was told that the director gone, the deputy director gone, persons who are responsible for disability gone. Social services are a mess, sir. Mr. Speaker, I was told that the Office of the President has a parallel public service, but the Ministry of Human Services also has a parallel public service. Let me tell you, sir, if you check volume 1 of the budget books, it will tell you the stories. Numbers don't lie. The Minister's Secretariat has, as we speak, 148 staff, 106 on contract. Social Services Program has 487
Honorable
staff.
member, you said the minister's secretariat has 106 staff?
That's what the book says, sir. I'm going by program, sir. Mr. Speaker, Social Services has 487 staff, 282 are on contract. Child Care and Protection, 183 staff, 107 are on contract, sir. The ministry alone has 495 contracted employees. I am sure the Minister of Public Service don't know this. Mr. Speaker, it's in the book, sir. The situation contributes to systemic failures of the ministry. And that's the point I want to make, sir. The systemic failures of the ministry. Children are abused, women are murdered, and our girls are being raped. Our pensioners cannot sustain their livelihood. Single parents are denied public assistance. Mr. Speaker, it is too much. Systemic failure of the PVP. The budget is not for the 58% of people in poverty, sir. Mr. Speaker, you can understand why, despite all the efforts, our women are being murdered with terrifying frequency, even though we have a Family Violence Act. Where are the community programs to address gender-based activities? I received complaints, sir, from Barometer, Madhya, Latem, Rossignol, and Linden. How are we putting people first? We have shelters, but so many of our indigent people are still sleeping on the road corners. We visited right in central Georgetown here, Mr. Speaker, at Border Market, and we saw women in little corners as if it is their home in the Border Market. Women with children. Mr. Speaker,
Honorable member, I have the Honorable Minister of Governance on her feet.
I would like under 40A that the honorable member correct herself. On the 300 Minister of Human Services, Policy Development and Administration, there are 106 contracted workers. They're under the program of Policy Development Administration and not the Minister's Secretariat. The honorable member is incorrectly reading the budget. The quote she gave on 487 staff is relating to Social Services Program 2 of the Ministry of Human Services. I'd ask the member to please retract her statement and not misinform this House. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Teixeira. Minister Teixeira, I personally asked that question because I wish when I was minister I had half of that in my secretariat. Honorable member, Ms. Natasha Singh Lewis, you're an experienced member.
thank you, sir.
And
I wish
but you
to
can,
acknowledge that the staff that I quoted is under policy administration. But I'd like to ask
and
the
not
question,
under the minister's secretariat.
who manages policy and administration?
Okay.
Not the Secretary.
Honorable member, again,
I retract, Mr. Speaker.
yes.
The number I quoted is under policy and administration, sir, of the said ministry. And we should move on, Mr. Speaker. The minister must visit Border Market. Mr. Speaker, she should pay attention to the women and children sleeping on the corner of Border Market. And as we are on shelters, Mr. Speaker, I received a long complaint from the Hugo Chavez Center in Region 5. Mr. Speaker, they begged the minister to procure a minibus in the 2026 budget so that the staff who are going in at the midnight shift at 11 to 7 can have transportation. Mr. Speaker, I believe that's a reasonable request of staff. Mr. Speaker, when I looked at the Capitol, there is no bus for Hugo Chavez, which means they continue to go to work at 11 in the night because they need the money in an unsafe condition, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the staff that serve the people of Guyana in that ministry deserves comfort. It is one of the things that we have to do for our staff. Mr. Speaker, I would like the public to understand, and I don't feel happy standing here and sharing this information with you because I want to make the minister look bad. That's not my intention. But I'm here to bring the facts so the people of Guyana can understand what is happening. Mr. Speaker, there is an example how the Minister of Human Services, of how she deals with matters. Mr. Speaker, here's an example. I wrote a letter to the Honorable Vindhya Prasad on the 2nd of September, sir. I have the letter here to show you. The 2nd of September, 2024, Mr. Speaker. 2024, I never received an acknowledgement or a response to this letter. Mr. Speaker, that letter was asking the Honorable Minister to ensure that an indigenous woman named Leona James from Port Kaituma receives the disability grant. Because she applied for it, she's on public assistance, she's in a wheelchair, she qualified, she applied, and she didn't get. I spoke to the people in Region 1. After months, she still complained she didn't get it. I wrote the minister and got no response. Mr. Speaker, December of last year, Leona James died without receiving that public assistance. She died without receiving the grant, Mr. Speaker. Those things hurt me. These are people who are deserving of government assistance. You won't come here and tell me that you put people first. That is just wrong, Mr. Speaker. I cannot take that. Mr. Speaker, there are many things that are wrong in this country, but nobody speaks about it. The young woman who allegedly jumped from the window at Georgetown Public Hospital, had she been given any kind of support, God knows that could have been avoided, sir. Yes. Mr. Speaker, child care and protection. That's a really sad situation there. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Minister of Finance speaks of inclusive, diversified growth, but the SDG demand inclusive, diversified development. I am sure he knows that growth is a number on a spreadsheet, and development is measured when a child is safe. Adriana Young was not safe in her community, sir. We lost her. Mr. Speaker, development of a country is where children are safe, where children are educated, and they're healthy. Mr. Speaker, this budget, like others, is a big number, but lacks value for taxpayers' dollars. Last year, the state-of-the-art 24-hour child care center, valued at $93.8 million invested, hails as a beacon of support for families, a crucial step in early childhood development, and a relief for parents striving to build a better life. Mr. Speaker, that center was commissioned in August of 2025 when the PPP was looking for votes. Mr. Speaker, in January of 2026, the center is still not operational. And then, lo and behold, I heard Dr. Ashley Singh spoke of the center at Providence. Mr. Speaker, the opposition leader and I went and we visited the one at Providence. In the budget book, it says 2025, that project is supposed to be completed. Sir, it is not completed. After 4 contractors, it is still not completed, and they're coming back in 2026 to ask for more money to complete the center. What is that, Mr. Speaker?
Madness.
That is putting people first. That is the PPP putting people first. Mr. Speaker, who is accountable for this growth, mismanagement, and waste? Mr. Speaker, an immediate and thorough investigation by the relevant Parliamentary Oversight Committee into the procurement, commissioning, and subsequent abandonment of this center should be done. The Minister of Human Services and Social Security should make a full ministerial statement to the National Assembly detailing the reasons for the closure, or not opening it at all. The people of Anna Katrina and Region 3 deserves better. We know that shortly they are going to double up their efforts to get the center at Providence completed. Mr. Speaker, we can't be approving large sums of monies for buildings and our children are punishing. In 2024, hear me, Mr. Speaker, hear me good. In 2024, 3,953 cases of child abuse was reported. I didn't say that. I didn't hear that. I read it in the budget book, sir. In 2025, 4,032 cases of child abuse reported. A total of 7,985 cases of child abuse in 24 months, Mr. Speaker. Something is rotting in the Child Protection Agency, and this House should investigate this matter.
Yes, post this.
More importantly, Mr. Speaker, tell us what are the measures. I know the minister is coming to speak after me. I want her to tell us what are the measures that will be implemented in 2026 with that huge sum of money to eradicate child abuse. How many of those cases are flagged as child sexual abuse? This is not putting people first, Mr. Speaker. You know how many families are dysfunctional when we have children who are abused coming from those families. What are we doing, Mr. Speaker? Is this the gloomy, glittery budget that the Minister of Finance is talking about? Did he ask why we got 7,000 children, almost 8,000, 7,985 children abused in less than 24 months? Did any of you ask what are the measures to eradicate child abuse in this country? I'm calling the numbers out so you hear them. It is alarming. This should be an apolitical issue. It is too high, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you know, I highlighted a case of a mother and 3 children in Bushlat, West Coast, Barbies. And pronto, the the Ministry of Human Services sent a team, and you see, one of the news agency put it out and so on. Mr. Speaker, how is it? Right at Bushlat, the nest of the PPP, they don't know that they got a house with 35 adults, one house, a flat building, 35 adults, 15 children, hungry every single day. How did they know that before? Mr. Speaker, something
Honourable
is
members,
wrong.
for you to conclude, you'll need 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask that MP Natasha be given 5 minutes to complete her presentation.
Honourable member, you may continue and conclude in 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. It's as short as 30 minutes. Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, as I wrap up, it would be remiss of me to highlight all those issues and not give some recommendations. First of all, an audit be done at the Child Protection Agency in relation to the measures that aren't in place to protect our children. That the Assembly, by agreement, actions the Women and Gender Equality report through the Social Services Committee, especially to give life to the recommendations, particularly that the government to consider policy to address paternity leave to allow men to support women after childbirth. Mr. Speaker, you know I've been here 5 years before, and we've received reports from that commission. And what happens? We receive the board. I don't know how many people read it, but it's very interesting to see the work of that commission. And nothing happens to it. The members receive it and they go home and read it, and that's all. Because the Minister of Human Service has been the chair of that committee. It has never come up until the other chair decided to accommodate, and then we know what is happening. And I find that the recommendations are important for us. Sir, I wish to make a call for the menstrual hygiene program be enhanced by social services and local government so that our young girls can have access, especially in the hinterland area. Mr. Speaker, I wish to request that a dedicated mental health program, I wish to request with all of my strength, Mr. Speaker, that a dedicated mental health program be sponsored in the form of support and be implemented in the workplace, especially in the public service, whereby the services of a therapist be paid for by government.
Yes.
Just like when we go to the doctor and we can apply to NIS and be refunded some amount of money, that same system should work for psychosocial therapy. That is how, Mr. Speaker, that is how you put people first.
Yes.
The minister should allow for transparency in the appointment of the members of Board of Guardians in each region. Mr. Speaker, I said earlier that the public assistance program is a mess. The minister should not and would not come to admit that, but I can tell you the number of complaints. And because I was a public servant in the public sector, I can tell you where it's going wrong. I would really like for that to happen, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we deserve a better Guyana, one where investments are made in people equitably. Guyana must be built with justice and equity and with institutions that work. This budget does not provide any of these, and so I beg I would not be able to support same. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Now invite the Honorable Minister of Human Services and Social Security, Dr. the Honorable Vindya Prasad.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members of this August Assembly, good evening. We are here this evening to debate a budget, a $1.5 trillion budget that is a living, people-centered blueprint. And I want to, at the outset, commend, congratulate, and thank my colleague, Dr. Ashni Kumar Singh, his very competent team at the Ministry of Finance, and all of the competent teams of public servants in every sector who would have contributed to the fabric of this budget that clearly emphasizes what we as the PPPC always would have done every year, and that is put people first. Mr. Speaker, maybe by now I should become accustomed to the personal, fallacious, and absolutely vitriolic attacks. But you're right. Let me simplify. I'll leave it to you all. But I should be accustomed to it. This is an August House where we discuss the business of the people, the future of our country, and the future of every person in our country. Mr. Speaker, I want to correct a number of statements that were made. They were not even disingenuous. They were outright fallacious. I want to say, Mr. Speaker, that I certainly do not have 100 plus, 160 something staff members in my secretariat. My secretariat is much smaller than a part of the upper end of this. I have 4 staff in my secretariat. I do. Mr. Speaker, I also want to correct something, because when we come to this house, we are expected to be truthful. When we come to this house, we have in front of our name, honorable. We are expected to discharge our duties honorably. Mr. Speaker, I will say to you that I will provide to you as the Speaker a report on the demise of that resident at the Palms Institution. It was unfortunate, but that resident passed away from cancer. Mr. Speaker, I am going to provide that report to you because people should not come here, misinform the public, and then leave this assembly. What are we really doing here? Mr. Speaker, you know, Mr. Speaker, this budget, I will champion it. You know why? Because it relates to the needs and it relates to the people of our country from Region 1 to Region 10. And Mr. Speaker, I will deal with facts because facts are stubborn, cold, and hard. I don't need to engage in political gymnastics and distortions. Mr. Speaker, I will say to you that when we look at the ministry holistically, it has always responded to the needs of the Guyanese people. If you look at the 78.3 billion budget that has been allocated to this ministry, 70 billion of that is going directly to the hands of the beneficiaries across the length and breadth of Guyana. 70 billion. The recipients of public assistance, permanent disability, and senior citizens. Mr. Speaker, we have seen the increase in the numbers of beneficiaries since this People's Progressive Party Civic took office. Look back at your record, it was dismal. We have seen that we have grown the number of pensioners to over 90,000 pensioners. We have seen an increase in the first 5 years. We've honored our commitments. We've doubled the pension. We are now saying in these 5 years, we are going to move the pension to $60,000, which puts us at $46,000 per month, a $20,000 transportation grant, and also electricity grant to the equivalent of $30,000 per annum, and a water subsidy as well. And also pensioners can benefit from spectacle vouchers, healthcare vouchers, spectacle testing or eye testing vouchers. Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Health has a comprehensive program on home-based care that is directly related to the welfare and well-being of our senior citizens. Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Health will look at protecting the life of our senior citizens. When you look at social services, it includes health, education, and social services as the ministry. When you can read the budget book, then come back and talk to me. Mr. Speaker, I want to say very, very clearly that the Ministry of Health for the first time is providing vaccines, influenza vaccines, pneumonia vaccines. These are life-saving vaccines that will impact on the life of our seniors. There is an intensive geriatric program that is provided by the Ministry of Health. Mr. Speaker, if we look at the senior citizens accommodation, Through the Ministry of Human Services, we will be constructing a new senior citizens home in Enmore. And we will also be moving in a very creative way to involve and include the persons who we have been training through our very innovative WIN program. Before you get mixed up, let me tell you what it is. Women's Innovation Investment Network. That was started in 2021. Mr. Speaker, this program has effortlessly empowered 21,000 women from Region 1 to Region 10. And these women who have been trained through this program have received this at no cost. So I want the members in this House, when they say we will not support this budget, we don't agree with this budget, go and tell the women in Baracara who have a new sewing hub and who have been empowered through this program. Go and tell the women in Sophia who are churning out garments that I'm so proud of, because I go into Sophia and I talk with them. When you want to speak of realities, I can tell you of them too. Mr. Speaker, go and tell the women in Cane Grove that this budget has nothing. They have benefited through this program in garment construction. Mr. Speaker, we continue to advance and champion the rights of women. And I am not only going to speak of the Women's Innovation Investment Network, because we have taken the entire training budget that was given to Human Services prior to us. It was only $10.9 million. Today it stands as $330 million. Mr. Speaker, directly through the Guyana Women's Leadership Institute, $170 million would have been allocated to training women, empowering them. And how? Because we are providing training that is diverse, that looks at the needs of our country. Mr. Speaker, when people come here and they dishonor this House, and they try to misinform the public, you talk about accountability, you need to hold yourself accountable first. I've always believed in truth, and I'm going to stand here and to say that truth as many times as I have to. Mr. Speaker, we are advancing women and we are advancing their ability to become financially independent through programs like the Culinary Arts Program, which is in this new budget, the expansion of the Garment Construction Program, which is in this budget. We're also advancing women in non-traditional areas. What am I talking about? It's a passion of mine, a personal passion of mine, and I belong to the People's Progressive Party, Civic. I belong to that party because we have always believed in promoting women, empowering women. I'm going to tell you who would have rated us. Just give me 2 minutes to tell you what I'm going to tell you now. You know, we have been championing women, and we have not only stuck to the traditional areas. Guyana has been enjoying a massive boom in construction. And I've always felt, why shouldn't the women be part of this journey of construction? And so last year, 129 women were trained through the UK City and Guilds program in carpentry, welding, masonry, electrical, installation, and plumbing. This year, we're going to train even more of them. You know how proud I feel when they put a business card in my hand and they say, we're starting our own enterprise. And Mr. Speaker, look, 60% of the house ownership will fall and has fallen already to the women across Guyana. If we look at the University of Guyana, more women are leaving the University of Guyana with degrees. If we look at the Gold Program, more women are leaving the Gold Program with degrees. Mr. Speaker, you know, sometimes you need to have an outside perspective of how your country is doing. And I'll tell you that outside perspective. The World Economic Forum, how did they rate Guyana on the Global Gender Gap Index? Let me tell you, we've moved up 4 places more in just 1 year. We are now 31 of 149 countries in the world. We are ranked 8th in the Caribbean for our leadership on gender issues. And we continue to do it. Whether we speak about healthcare, we speak about progressive gender policies, whether we speak about home ownership or education, we are narrowing that gender gap. We are narrowing that divide, and we must continue to do it. There are some things that we should not politicize, and I don't believe in politicizing the future of our women. Women are an important part of our country. Almost 50% of us. I know the men have edged us out in the last census report by a little bit, but we are almost 50% in the country. We are a significant part of the economy. And when we train women through the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security, we are putting them into the formal economy. We are putting them into the labor force. And Mr. Speaker, how are we putting them into the labor force? What is this budget saying? Mr. Speaker, His Excellency redefined under his leadership, he redefined the concept of care and looked at how we could translate unpaid care into paid care. He looked at how we can have a very expansive care economy. Now that's very close to my heart. Why? Because we are dismantling a barrier that would have affected women for generations, where they didn't have child care, and now they could not only receive child care in communities, they can be part of that child care journey. And how is this happening? Because several ways. There's going to be the removal of corporate tax for all companies child care services to their employees. It is groundbreaking. Mr. Speaker, I've already had those discussions with the private sector, and already one company has started this initiative. Mr. Speaker, we're speaking about co-investing in care, where in the communities, women who we have trained, about 7,000 women in child and elder care, they can be the givers or the providers of care in their community. We have a home-based care policy coming out of the same Child Protection Agency. And by the way, there are about 8 policies that the Child Protection Agency did. So when you want to speak about the Ministry of Human Services, get your facts right. Mr. Speaker, I will also say that when we have the co-invest ability, it means we're empowering women to take the future in their hands and give them an opportunity to work in the care economy that not only allows employment, entrepreneurship. A co-investment would equal, if you look at the model that is advanced through the Guyana Development Bank, which has received an injection of $100 million US, co-investment would equal $3 million, no interest, no collateral, and that woman who wants to get into the care economy, that woman can benefit from that. If she wants to grow from smaller micro enterprise, she can move up to $7 million investment with preferential interest rates. Mr. Speaker, that's putting people first. You know, we just put people first. Mr. Speaker, let me talk about the mom who's just gotten a newborn baby. She knows that she has the strength of the state that supports the first breath of her child with $100,000. And she knows that 13,000 babies would have benefited already. Mr. Speaker, let's continue to talk about that mom. It could be a mom from Buxton. It could be a mom from Annandale. It could be a mom from Berbice. It could be a dad too. And we've put their children first. Mr. Speaker, remember, you know, I don't have to look back very far. Just look at that side and know you removed the Because We Care cash grant. In this budget, we've increased it to $85,000, inclusive of school uniforms, inclusive of transportation money. And we are saying to parents, look, we're removing the burden from your pockets. So if a mother has 5 children, multiply that by $85,000. Mr. Speaker, maybe that mom has a child who has a disability. And, you know, people can say they send me all kinds of things, and my staff will say that this minister leaves the office perhaps the last in the evening and clears her desk. So be careful what you say. And you will also know that was right after election. So be careful what you said. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that child who has a disability, how does that child benefit? Well, they can have a permanent disability book, and that disability money would have gone to $25,000. We're looking at helping 30,000 persons with permanent disabilities in year's budget. You don't like this budget, but what do you want to remove from it? Tell the person with permanent disabilities. Tell the pensioner. What are you going to cut? Mr. Speaker, if we look, let me just digress a little bit. There was talk about the Early Childhood Development Center. Now, if we love our country, we would always celebrate the things that make our country unique and distinctive. For the first time in the Caribbean, this part of the world, you have a model of early childhood development, day and night care facilities. First time. You might have had daycare, night care, or early childhood centers, all separate. This model brings it together, and we opened the first day-night care early childhood center in Anna Catherina Region 3. And from then to now, no less a person than the head of the early childhood development program. She's sitting right here, so Mr. Speaker, bear with me if I mention her name. Ms. Conchita Gray and her team, hardworking team, no less than her, said to the nation, we are going to make this center fully operational in the first quarter of the month. Mr. Speaker, as I stand here, that center is open and functioning. We have spent the last few months training, recruiting, and registering children. You know, old people always say, if you're going to visit somebody, go up the front bridge, open the front gate, go and knock on the front door, and you will know what's happening inside. Don't go in a corner and thief a little video. If you know, you know. Mr. Speaker, we should not do this. We're speaking about the future of our children. The Early Childhood Development Center in Providence has been built by BNTF. I'm not going to tell you what that stands for because you should know if you are referring to it. We are constructing a center in Mocha, and this year...
Minister, you're speaking to me, I may not know.
Mr. Speaker, I think you do. Mr. Speaker, I really believe you do. But since you asked, Basic Needs Trust Fund, I do know. So, Mr. Speaker, we have $300 million that would have been advanced for more of these model centers in several regions. And these regions will benefit from the experience of the two that will be opened in the first half of this year to add to the one that has been opened in Region 3. Mr. Speaker, when we look at early childhood development, what have we done? According to Honorable Member, nothing. We have given Guyana its first integrated early childhood development policy, a program, guidelines, and we have trained effectively a number of women. We have trained 100 women, empowered them with a business grant to start their child care facilities, and we have moved 10 women to centers of excellence. Mr. Speaker, that's just a little bit of what we have done in early childhood development. But then there was this talk about children who are abused. Now, that is a very serious issue. And we take it very seriously at all levels of the ministry. Mr. Speaker, if you look back at the statistics in the last 4 years, you would have seen a consistent reduction in the number of cases of child abuse from over 4,000 to just over 3,000. No, that's still too many cases of child abuse. So what are we doing? We have created a number of strategies under the overarching theme of every child safe. We have also designed a rapid response team that will be available after hours to react and respond to every report of child abuse. And we are piloting that program in Regions 3 and 4 with the intention of expanding that program to the entire country. Mr. Speaker, child abuse is very serious, and we have looked at the cases, and we have not only looked at the cases, we are working with parents. We have a very robust parenting program. We have developed the program, the manual, the workbook, and parents will benefit in our early childhood development centers as well as in the communities from this parenting program. Mr. Speaker, why can I say this without even looking at a single paper? Because I've been involved in all of that every step of the way, from the moment I sat in the chair as Minister of Human Services and Social Security. Someone once told me, it's easy to be in the opposition because you can criticize, but if give you something to run, that's proof, right? See if you can do it. You might run it now. Yes, so, Mr. Speaker, as I continue on the issue of childcare, I want to move over now because I do have time constraints, but I wish you could give me an hour more to talk about the work the ministry is doing. Thank you. We have licensed for the first time non-state-owned care centers. We have also registered almost all of our care facilities across of the country, over 300 of them. Mr. Speaker, when we speak of social ills, when we speak of the ills that plague our world, our country, we know we are speaking of grave violations to people, such as abuse and violence against women, trafficking in persons. Trafficking in persons over the last 5 years would have benefited from a new piece of legislation, regulations, policies, and SOPs. And with all of that, and with the education, awareness, and the work that we have done, we have been able to maintain the Tier 1 ranking for Guyana for 9 consecutive years. Mr. Speaker, we've not just done this, we've gone out there and trained people and met with people in the community. You know, it's easy to talk, but we've been quietly doing the work. Mr. Speaker, when I think of the Ministry of Human Services, we are on the ground every day doing the quiet work that it takes to reach every senior citizen, to meet out to every mother and child, to go into the courtroom and to ensure that children's rights are protected. That's why since 2020 to now, we have child advocacy centers in every region. That is why we're continuing to give subventions to NGOs to the tune of $123 million, Child Link and Blossom Inc. That is why we support legal aid and help and shelter. That is why the Ministry of Human Services has a model that not the Caribbean nor Latin America has, and that is why IDB invites me to go and speak about it. The Hope and Justice Centers that I would have done in collaboration with the Ministry of Legal Affairs, where we provide all the services for survivors under one roof, including free legal counsel, counseling. We have temporary shelter. We also can go there, make a police report, get your medical done. Mr. Speaker, we have 2 of those on the coast and 1 in Region 1, which we will fully operationalize before the first half of this year. Mr. Speaker, that's progress, that's people, and that's why we can stand here with all the authority in the world and say we are putting people first, because that's what we're doing. Mr. Speaker, as I continue to speak about the budget and the initiatives that we are planning to do, I must not forget to really express my joy in the fact that we lift 6 Guyana's and the Caribbean's largest Women in Business Expo will be held right here where it started from the 6th to the 8th of March, where we moved from 75 women-owned businesses to now 400. That's not all, but 1,500 women-owned businesses are featured on our WIN app. Oh my God, don't let me mix you up again. Women's Innovation Investment Network. I want to make sure, as Mr. Speaker said, pellucid. I'm not going to say pellucidly clear. No, pellucid, that means clear. Mr. Speaker, I also want to say that that app will benefit from the addition of these lists, where we will list the women that we have trained in the various disciplines so that they can benefit from employment opportunities, including opportunities for employment in care and other areas. And, you know, as a minister, I've always believed in the use of technology, and we've never shied away from it from using technology in a variety of ways. And this budget will move us more into the realm of technology. We started out with the iMatter app a few years ago, and just last year, the iMatter app, for the information of everyone, is an app that provides resources and a panic button that connects you to a 24-hour toll-free hotline 914, and that app has benefited from a chat feature. So if there is a survivor who needs help, who needs support, they can chat directly with those persons in the ministry, sexual offenses, domestic violence policy unit, so that they can get help. We've also digitalized the beneficiaries register through the IDB's assistance, and we have transferred the data of all our beneficiaries with the intention in 2026 of decentralizing our services digitally so that we can provide more efficient service to senior citizens and persons living with disabilities, in addition to opening 2 new units, one that caters to senior citizens and the other that caters to persons living with disabilities. Mr. Speaker, as I said, I don't need to come here and attack anyone. I can stand up and speak on what we have accomplished and achieved after hard work and budget after budget being utilized to invest in the people of Guyana, all the people of Guyana. Let me ask you something, Mr. Speaker. Do you think the grandmother who receives her pension is a corporate giant? We are accused that the budget is only for particular wealthy people. Do you think the mother who benefits from $100,000, is she a fancy person who should not benefit? Mr. Speaker, what are we really saying? I don't know what vehicle she has, but I could say the young man or the young woman professional who wants to drive over the Barajaglio Demerara Harbor Bridge, they will love the fact that they can have a new vehicle with reduced taxation to drive over the Demerara Harbor Bridge. Because this budget speaks to all levels, all classes, all races, all religions, all the people of Guyana. Mr. Speaker, you know, we speak of disabilities, and I want to tell you of a few things. When we speak of disabilities, people only think of a permanent disability benefit. But what has been happening? We have had a very successful program that gives assistive aids, support aids to persons living with disabilities. If that mother had a child who had a disability and she was thinking, you know, I need to buy a wheelchair, I'd say, no ma'am, keep your hand in your pocket, don't take out anything. Not only will we provide that wheelchair for you, we have been doing it for the last 3.5 years, and we will deliver it to you. And not only wheelchairs, walkers, white canes, Ministry of Health, hearing aids, and something so significant, prosthesis. You know what's the cost of prosthesis? Within $1 million to 600,000 Guyana dollars. That is provided free and will continue to be provided free in the 2026 budget. So, you know, it is looking at our most vulnerable, seeing their dreams, their hopes, their aspirations. They're seeing a path, not a wall. Mr. Speaker, through the Learning Lab and our program that trains persons living with disabilities, we've managed to train over 300 persons in all regions living with disabilities. We are expanding that program to include climate smart, sustainable agriculture, expanded garment construction, and a number of other programs. Mr. Speaker, as I continue to speak with you, I am pretty sure that I'm sharing things that maybe when that budget book was read and you saw, the member saw 160 plus people in my secretariat, she didn't bother to read all of this. Mr. Speaker, as I continue to share with you.
Yes, I would like you to continue to share with me. So let's give you an extension to continue that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can I ask that the honorable member be given 5 years to conclude her very good speech? Thank you.
5 years? Thank
Oh,
you.
sorry, 5 days. Did I say?
5 days? Okay, I'll take it.
That was a slip of the tongue, sir. Five days, but, you know, 5 years wouldn't be bad. But we have 5 years, actually. We have 5
Minister
years in
Teixeira,
government.
I think the
So my
5-year
apology.
plea has to be to His Excellency.
Yes, we have, a government has, yes, thank you, sorry about that.
And let me also join you in commending the presentation without even seems to be referring to the notes. Honorable Minister, you may continue to conclude.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And I want to recognize my wonderful Chief Whip for her intention of 5 years and 5 days. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I also want to say there are a few initiatives that I will want to conclude with as I wrap up. I don't really want to wrap up, but I'll tell you about them. So there is the Gender Empowerment and Equality Seal that will be provided through the public sector and private sector, focusing on safer, more workplaces that allow for equal opportunities, and that is something that is very, very progressive, doesn't really exist in the Caribbean, and Guyana will be the first country to have such a seal. In addition to that, Mr. Speaker, there is another initiative that is very close to my heart, and this is the Golden Generation Hub and the Centenarian Club, where we bring together our senior citizens 2 or 3 times a week for social engagement, recreation, wellness. You ready for it? Sure, I'll invite you. So this has been happening, and this will be expanded to continue to do what we have been able to do through the budget, and not to let the men feel that they're left out. We have advanced the Bridging the Gap policy that focuses on men, and through that policy, we've been able to start a Brave Center in Region 3 and Brave Circles that allow us to focus on men, fatherhood, empowerment, masculinity, anger management, and a slew of other areas. And we've been achieving great success. This will be also expanded through the 2026 budget. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that the budget 2026 is the first budget of 5 years. And what the people of Guyana would have come to know about the People's Progressive Party civic government is that we don't just build buildings, we build people. We don't just create infrastructure that is meaningless. They are purposeful and thoughtful that improve the quality of lives of people. We don't just have a budget that one must look at in silos. We have a budget that is integrated and comprehensive in its outlook, which says that as cabinet, as ministers of government, we work together to achieve the mandate of the People's Progressive Party civic. Mr. Speaker, when we look at our government, I would like to think that this budget is the Guyana that was and the Guyana that must be. That is what it speaks to. The Guyana that was and the Guyana that must be. And together, with the support of you in the opposition, because I don't think you could sit there and tell me you want to remove anything from my budget, or the Ministry of Human Services budget, or the budget as a whole, because each one of us would have shared with you in this short afternoon all of the comprehensive, far-reaching initiatives that impact in a transformational way on the lives of everyone. I say finally, my friends on the opposite side, remove that peculiar political cataract that you may have. And when you look at the highways and bridges, see the grandmother who is at the center of what we do. When you look at the roads that intersect and connect and that will keep going and going until we link the length and breadth of Guyana, see the young man and the young woman and their future, because we see it and we contribute to it year after year. I say to all of us here, we're not just managing a litany of fiscal projections. We are nurturing a nation, and I'm privileged to be part of a government that has transformed Guyana to what we see and we continue to see. Thank you very much, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Human Services, Social Security, and especially for those new members, that has been a demonstration in presentation in the National Assembly, not with reference or reading to those notes. Congratulations, Minister. We now invite the Honorable Member, Dr. Gordon Barker. Gordon Barker to make his contribution.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members of this House, it is indeed a privilege and an honor for me to rise in this assembly, the highest deliberative body of our republic, where the collective will of the Guyanese people is represented, debated, and translated into policy. I acknowledge the solemn responsibility that rests on each member of this House, irrespective of side, to act in the best interest of our nation. I therefore approach this debate with humility, respect for this institution, and a deep sense of duty as I contribute to the consideration of the 2026 national budget. Mr. Speaker, I approach this budget debate with respect for the office you hold,
Mr. Speaker.
respect
Mr.
for my
Speaker.
colleagues.
Mrs.
Honorable Member, Ms. Sarabu Hali.
That when a member is given their maiden speech, that they should at least have some silence in the House. I'm asking if you can please protect the member as
Thank
he
you.
gives his maiden speech.
Honorable Members, a maiden speech.
Mr. Speaker, I approach this debate with respect for the office you hold, respect for my colleagues on both sides of this House, and a deep sense of duty to the citizens I represent. It is a privilege to stand in this assembly and speak on behalf of communities, schools, teachers, parents, and children whose voices must be heard in this national budgetary process. Permit me, Mr. Speaker, as I seek clarity from the Minister of Human Services and Social Security on whether or not David Trahini, also known as Perkins, who was a 78-year-old pension at the Palms, fell through the floor in 2025. Mr. Speaker, we have pictures showing the evidence of injuries of Mr. Perkins.
Honorable Member, when Minister Dr. Vindhya Prasad made her contribution, she said she was going to provide the report on the death, and she did. It's going to be circulated shortly to every single member. So be careful how you present on the
But, Mr.
injury
Speaker,
order, right?
Mr. Speaker,
Honorable. Honorable members, we are, Honorable Member Mr. Maipal, you want me to stand? the Honorable Attorney General heard correctly. I allow it to pass. And Honorable Member, we will make the appropriate correction in your favor in the notes. We are empowered to do that.
Duly noted, Mr. Speaker. This debate, Mr. Speaker, is not merely about figures printed across 3 volumes of estimates. It is about priorities. It is about equity. And it is about whether the promises made in this House translate into meaningful change in the lived experiences of Guyanese people across our 10 regions. As the regional representative for Region 3 and the Shadow Minister of Education, I rise today not to oppose for the sake of opposition, but to scrutinize, interrogate, and strengthen this debate budget in the interest of national development and educational transformation. Mr. Speaker, I ask that I am allowed to deliver my maiden presentation uninterrupted by the government side of this House.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, the 2026 estimates present a budget of unprecedented scale. According to Volume 1 of the estimates, total expenditure for 2026 stand at approximately 1.558 trillion. Mr. Speaker, this almost equal split between current and capital spending signals the government intent on large-scale infrastructural expansion. However, Mr. Speaker, a budget of this magnitude carries with it an equally significant burden of accountability. When nearly 1.6 trillion is placed before this assembly for approval, it is not unreasonable. Indeed, it is our constitutional duty to ask,
Mr. Speaker.
where is the money going?
Mr. Speaker.
Who benefits?
Honorable Member, Ms. Halley.
I'm standing on Standing Order 45C, where members who are not speaking shall maintain silence while another member is speaking and shall not interrupt.
Thank you, Honorable Member, Ms. Halley. Honorable members, please, let's observe the standing orders.
Where is the money going? Who benefits directly? Which regions are provided with clear, identifiable allocations, and which regions are left to interpret their share from national aggregates? Mr. Speaker, education remains one of the most powerful tools for social mobility, economic diversification, and national cohesion. The government has repeatedly asserted that education is the cornerstone of development, and the estimates for the year 2026 reflect this through allocations to the Ministry of Education to the sum of 183.6 billion. Mr. Speaker, it is noteworthy to mention the following. Mr. Speaker, according to the Minister with responsibilities for finance, 7 billion is allocated to the National School Feeding Program for approximately 115,100 children, which amounts to roughly $61,000 per child per year. Mr. Speaker, with the number of reported cases about the quality of the meals that are being provided, it is better to provide the parents of these children with additional $61,000 a year. Mr. Speaker, no education system can rise above the quality, morale, and stability of its teachers. Yet, when we examine allocations related to Teaching Service Commission, and teacher management, we observe a glaring silence on several critical issues, Mr. Speaker. Backlogs in promotions which hinder the pension and gratuity paid to teachers upon retirement. Mr. Speaker, let us look at the recent Teaching Service Commission, who only advertise vacancies after our party, the We Invest in Nation political party, addressed that in the media. The Teaching Service Commission was in effect for 3 years, and of those 3 years, only advertised senior promotion one time. Mr. Speaker, delays in confirmations, succession planning for retiring educators, incentives for teachers in high demand regions, risk allowances for teachers. Mr. Speaker, while the budget speaks eloquently about digital education platforms and broadcast technologies, it does not outline a clear program for the provision of laptops to teachers or learners. Access to online content is meaningless without access to individual devices, and the gap remains unaddressed in this budget. Mr. Speaker, turning to volume 3 of the estimates, which outlines the capital project profiles, we see an extensive list of educational related capital projects. Mr. Speaker, these investments are commendable in principle. Not one on this side of the House disputes the importance of improving educational infrastructure. However, Mr. Speaker, a troubling pattern emerges when one examines these projects closely. The absence of clear regional identification. Nowhere in volume 3 are we provided with a transparent region by region breakdown of which schools will be built, expanded, or rehabilitated in 2026. Regions are expected to infer benefits from national totals. Mr. Speaker, inference is not policy, Minister. inference is not accountability.
Right.
And inference does not build classrooms.
Right.
Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Education 2026 budget should address the issues of overcrowded classrooms for Faith Harmony Primary School. The Ministry of Education should address unhygienic washroom areas and pit latrines. This is what they should address.
Yes.
This is what they should address.
Yes, in 2026.
The Ministry of Education should address the lack of furniture in schools. The Ministry of Education should address the lack of teacher incentives.
Right. Yes. Yes. Correct. Right. Teachers are better. I can't recognize some of the teachers don't do it.
Mr. Speaker, the ministry should address animals such as snakes and cows in schools, bats and pigeon infestation in schools. This is what the Ministry of Education should address. This is what the Ministry of Education should address. This is what the Ministry of Education should address. Mr. Speaker, teachers should be paid for all qualifications they receive. Mr. Speaker, the education budget should consider curriculum revision given the development in our job markets. Where is that in the budget? Mr. Speaker, what about adequately equipping schools with the equipment and resources to undertake the TVET programs the ministry boasts about? Mr. Speaker, what about upgrading classrooms with air conditioning units to combat the effects of climate change? Mr. Speaker, allow me to identify a glaring concern in our schools. Bullying. Yes, the effects of climate change. Our children are being bullied by their peers. And what is most alarming is that we have reached a point where students have attacked teachers. Yet, Mr. Speaker, no measure has been considered in the 2026 budget to address this atrocity in our schools. Mr. Speaker, our teachers are already struggling to make ends meet with the unlivable salaries they receive and no risk allowances. Now they have to endure physical attacks by learners. Mr. Speaker, the Minister of Education visited Zeeburg Secondary School and she spoke to the Assembly about her ministry not tolerating acts of bullying. But only days after her visit, a video surfaced of a gang of students of that same school beating the life out of an individual. Mr. Speaker, this goes to show that if strict measures are not implemented, this heinous act will continue to spread like a wildfire, consuming our schools. Mr. Speaker, another potential atrocity is the operation of the Guyana Online Academy of Learning that brings the institution into disrepute. Mr. Speaker, the Guyana Online Academy of Learning, the GOLD program, was sold to this nation as a transformational investment in education. Instead, it has become a symbol of poor planning, weak oversight, and unacceptable uncertainty for thousands of Guyanese. Mr. Speaker, there is no clear reporting to this House on the completion rates, accreditation standards, or employment outcomes. Students have been left in limbo. Institutions have changed without explanation, and this House has not received no comprehensive impact assessment, despite the billions being allocated to this program. The Guyanese people need answers. Mr. Speaker, for the records, allow me to ask, who is managing this program and what mechanisms are in place for sustained employment of these scholars after the completion of their programs? Mr. Speaker, while the new YAS Special Needs School is much needed, we must not neglect our SEND schools that are already in existence for some time now. These other SEND schools and departments are in dire need of rehabilitation, resources, and adequate trained specialist teachers. Mr. Speaker, Bedford Wacton Primary School, which houses a SEND department, was infested with pigeons to an extent that the health of the SEND learners at that school was compromised. Mr. Speaker, more must be allotted to our SEND learners and their teachers so that these beautiful souls can learn, develop, and thrive in what we call one Guyana. Mr. Speaker, some of my colleagues and I visited that school and saw the desks and benches covered in pigeon droppings. Imagine the condition our SEND learners are placed under. Mr. Speaker, allow me to focus specifically on Region 3, Essequibo Islands, West Demerara. Region 3 is no longer a peripheral region. It is now the host of the Gas to Energy project, a rapidly expanding residential corridor, a gateway between coastal and riverine communities, a region experiencing increasing pressures on schools, roads, health services, and utilities. Mr. Speaker, when we examine Agency 73 in Volume 1, which governs Region 3, we see allocations spread across 5 programs: Regional Administration and Finance, Agriculture, Public Works, Education Delivery, Health Services. Mr. Speaker, the Education Delivery Program is the lifeblood of regional education. It funds teacher salary, school operations, maintenance, learning materials, regional education offices. But, Mr. Speaker, the estimates do not tell us how many schools in Region 3 will receive capital upgrades. Which schools will benefit from new classrooms? How much is allocated for rehabilitation versus routine maintenance? Whether the overcrowding of schools will be addressed. Mr. Speaker, this lack of specificity is not a minor oversight. It is a systemic weakness. Mr. Speaker, teachers and learners in Region 3 are navigating overcrowded classrooms, inadequate facilities, flood-related disruptions, increasing behavioral and psychosocial challenges among learners. But the estimates provide no clear roadmap for resolving these human resource pressures. Mr. Speaker, investing in buildings without investing in the people who occupy them is a recipe for stagnation, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Region 3 is being positioned as an energy and industrial hub. That reality demands a corresponding educational strategy. Where in the estimates is the explicit alignment between secondary education and technical skills? Where in the estimates is the explicit alignment between TVET programs and energy sector demands? Where is there regional industries and post-secondary training pipelines? We cannot build an energy economy with an education system that is disconnected from the workforce planning. Mr. Speaker, budgets are often defended in this House through national aggregates and sector-wide percentages. But the true test of any budget is not found in totals. It is found in communities. It is found in schools, farms, health centers, and roads. Mr. Speaker, allow me therefore to ground this debate in Region 3 realities using the very programs outlined in the estimates. Mr. Speaker, Region 3 remains one of Guyana's most agriculturally productive regions, with rice farming, cash crops, livestock rearing, and fishing sustaining thousands of families in the areas such as Leg 1, Wakenham, Parika, Hague, and West Bank, Demerara. The estimates allocate substantial sums nationally for agricultural development, drainage and irrigation, support services. Yet, Mr. Speaker, farmers in Region 3 continue to face poor maintained secondary drainage channels, inconsistent irrigation during dry periods, limited access to farm to market roads, especially in riverine communities. Mr. Speaker, when drainage fails, crops fail. When crops fail, incomes collapse. And when incomes collapse, children are pulled from school. Agriculture cannot be treated as a standalone sector. It is directly linked to educational attendance, household stability, and regional health outcomes. Mr. Speaker, under the Public Works Program for Region 3, allocations are made for roads, drainage, and infrastructure maintenance. We have seen improvements on some major thoroughfares. However, many secondary and community roads remain in deplorable condition, particularly interior access roads on the west bank of Demerara, roads serving farming and riverine communities, school access roads that become impassable during heavy rainfall. In several communities, Mr. Speaker, children and teachers must traverse almost impassable roads to get to school. At Viva La Force Nursery and Primary, teachers and learners endure dust emanating from a makeshift road, from crush and run. Even health workers struggle to reach clinics. Public works is not merely about asphalt and concrete. It is about access to education, access to health care, and access to opportunity that this government so-called boasts about. If roads do not reach schools and health centers, then those facilities exist only in theory. Mr. Speaker.
The
Mr.
practice
Speaker.
is after 30 minutes as a shadow, you need an extension, not theory.
Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Member, Ms. Halley.
Mr. Speaker, I beg that the honourable member be given 5 minutes to conclude his presentation.
Mr. Speaker, allow me to speak plainly about education delivery in Region 3. Across the region, schools are grappling with overcrowded classrooms, inadequate sanitation facilities, flood-prone compounds, and delayed maintenance.
In several schools, classes are rotated due to space constraints, such as Parfait Harmony Primary. In others, washroom facilities are either insufficient or non-functional, such as the newly constructed block of Neem Secondary School. Imagine that. Despite these realities, Mr. Speaker, despite these realities, there is no clear identification in the estimates of which Region 3 schools will be rehabilitated or expanded in 2026. Mr. Speaker, education delivery cannot be reduced to salaries and chalk. It requires safe physical spaces, functional utilities, adequate classroom capacities, properly resourced school administration. When education delivery is weakened, learning outcomes suffer, and no amount of examination fee subsidies can compensate for that loss. Mr. Speaker,
People first must mean regions first. Mr. Speaker, ambition without clarity, confidence without transparency, and scale without equity will leave too many Guyanese behind in 2026. A budget that claims to put people first must ensure regions, schools, teachers, and learners are made priority. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, while the budget repeatedly affirms the importance of education and speaks eloquently about opportunity and world-class learning, it falls short on clarity and measurable outcomes. Education is framed primarily as a social service rather than as a central driver of human capital and productivity, with heavy emphasis on access and support, but limited detail on quality, performance, and regional delivery. Without clear school-level plans, outcome targets, and regional strategies, this House is asked to approve an education agenda that sounds ambitious but remains difficult to track, test, or hold accountable. Mr. Speaker, as a member of this Assembly, as regional representative for Region 3, and as Shadow Minister of Education, I urge this House to ensure that allocations we improve translate into visible classrooms, functional schools, empowered teachers, and prepared learners for tomorrow. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. That's a good example to follow for our first-time presenters. Now invite the Honorable Member, Ms. Coretta MacDonald, to make her presentation.
Promotion.
Honorable Member, Mr. McCoy, the Speaker did give permission to, I like the color. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support my colleagues on this side of the House, signaling clearly that after much scatteration, the government had no choice but to recognize that they must put people first, not only in words, but in action. Let me thank them for choosing the theme that was copied from the APNU AFC 2025 campaign manifesto. Mr. Speaker, Guyanese are being told that we are living in extraordinary times, which is a fact. We live in extraordinary growth, and don't forget, extraordinary promises. Mr. Speaker, but extraordinary times claims invite extraordinary scrutiny. Budgets are not sermons. Budgets are not slogans. They are not reassurance exercises. They are instruments of governance. And governance must be judged not by intention, but by effect. Today, Mr. Speaker, education when ambition outruns execution. Mr. Speaker, education once again commands an impressive allocation. We have become very fluent in impressive allocations. They just roll out of the tongue with ease. But Mr. Speaker, the data from the budget estimate tells a sobering story. Between 2021 and 2025, the total national budget expenditure expanded dramatically, yet education's share of that expansion declined in proportional terms. In 2021, total central government expenditure stood at approximately $383 billion, while the Education Ministry's allotment was merely $7.9 billion, representing just over 2% of the total expenditure. By 2023, the total expenditure had risen approximately to $781 billion, yet the Ministry of Education's allotment increased only by $14.1 billion, still under 2% of the total expenditure. In 2024, Mr. Speaker, the total expenditure crossed $1 trillion, while education rose to $18.2 billion, again remaining below 2% of the total expenditure. In the 2025 budget, education subventions and grants reached approximately $29.6 billion, while the total expenditure exceeded $1.38 trillion, keeping education roughly at 2.1% of the total spending position. Mr. Speaker, these numbers demonstrate that while education spending has increased in absolute terms, it has failed to keep pace with the growth of the national budget. The result is that education is not being prioritized, despite repeated claims to the contrary. But, Mr. Speaker, after years and years of expanding the education budget, the country is entitled to ask a question that is simple and uncomfortable. Why do these outcomes still lag behind the expenditure? This is not hostility to investment, it is respect for public monies. Mr. Speaker, with all the trillions and budget theme after budget theme, our children are still suffering. They are falling ill from eating stale food. Mr. Speaker, the state-of-the-art Brickdam Secondary School 2 weeks ago was leaking to the point where it was competing with the majestic Kaitshore Falls after heavy rainfall. Port Kaituma Primary, Mr. Speaker, the teachers and the parents staged a sit-in protest against the filthy state of the classroom. Quarantine comprehensive, no running water in that school, toilets could not be flushed, and no electricity in the grade 7 and 8 blocks. Yet we talk about putting people first. Parafet Harmony Primary, the parents and teachers at that school refused to allow their children to sit in classrooms that were not safe for them while construction was being done. The famous BV Kwamina Primary, Parika Salem Primary and Secondary, pigeon-infested, amongst other, pigeon-infested, bat-infested, mosquito-infested, and so many others amidst many other schools. Work at the North Rumvelt Secondary School, Mr. Speaker, are still being completed. This joins a long list of incomplete schools. What is worse, Mr. Speaker, is that some of these contractors have already received their full payment. Mr. Speaker, with all the trillions being budgeted for, very little is meeting the masses. As we have seen in reports stating that 58% of our people live in poverty and 32% of our people live in abject poverty. This makes it clear that all these trillions that have been dumped, into chocolate factories producing mansions in Florida and here locally, spitting out SUVs, pool houses, and apartment buildings not owned by the masses, but are owned by the corrupt few, their families, friends, and favorites. Mr. Speaker, teachers are crying out for better salaries, safe working environments, and educational policies that are geared to mold our children. But again, failed promises and copy and paste policies. Mr. Speaker, parents are bawling for safe schools for their children, not environment where children are exposed to lewd, gyrating, and inappropriate behaviors as have been seen in videos that have gone viral. So the trillions, as indicated, will not save Guyana and will not reach the masses. What we need is competence. What we need is honesty. What we need is decency and people with hearts of love and care, not copy and paste slogans. So, Mr. Speaker, if education is not first, then the future will be last. That's right. Mr. Speaker, the implementation paradox. Across electronic media, print commentary, and professional discussions, one theme dominates the education conversation: the persistent gap between policy announcements and the classroom reality. Mr. Speaker, there has been announcement of reform, but uneven delivery persists. We announce modernization, but operational basics still fail too often. We announce transformation, but ask teachers to absorb the cost silently. Mr. Speaker, this is not a mystery, it is a management problem. And what makes it particularly striking is this: when the government previously sat on the opposition benches, it articulated this very same issue with precision and passion. It demanded value for money, timelines, performance indicators, and accountability. Mr. Speaker, those arguments were correct then. They remain correct now. What has changed is not the logic, but the responsibility. Teachers, the system's shock absorbers. Mr. Speaker, no serious education system would treat its teachers as an afterthought. Yet too often, policy designs assumes unlimited resilience from a finite workforce. Teachers are asked to manage expanding curricula, new technologies, growing social challenges, and rising expectations, often simultaneously and without proportionate system support. Mr. Speaker, the public discourse reflects this clearly, and the question about deployment, workload, professional development, and retention are not ideological, they are operational. An education budget, Mr. Speaker, that cannot demonstrate with clarity that the teaching profession is being stabilized rather than stretched is a budget that postpones its own success. Mr. Speaker, the education estimates also reveal that teacher compensation and instructional quality have not been the primary beneficiaries of increased allocations. Mr. Speaker, this explains why teachers remain underpaid, overworked, and unsupported even as expectations rise. Infrastructure visibility versus functionality. By comparison, Mr. Speaker, infrastructure-heavy sectors have absorbed a rapidly expanding share of national resources. Capital expenditure rose from approximately $123.6 billion in 2021 to over $400 billion by 2024, with transport and public works accounting for the single largest increases year after year. Mr. Speaker, infrastructure has become the most visible symbol of education investment. Visibility, however, is not functionality. A building is not a school simply because it exists. It becomes a school when it is staffed, maintained, equipped, safe, and integrated into a learning system. Public discussions have repeatedly highlighted situations where physical expansion has not translated into improved learning environments. This, Mr. Speaker, is a sick pattern, and patterns demand correction, not celebration. Mr. Speaker, learning materials, the quiet architecture of inequality. Mr. Speaker, CARICOM states such as Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, and others have consistently outperformed Guyana, not because they spend more in absolute dollars, but because they allocate 15 and 20% of the total budget expenditure to education, compared to Guyana's 2%. This disparity helps to explain why Guyana continues to lag behind our regional peers in the CSET pass rates, particularly in the core subjects such as mathematics and English. This gap is reflected in uneven literacy outcomes, declining discipline in schools, and persistent disparities between urban and rural education. Mr. Speaker, textbooks and learning materials randomly dominate headlines, but they dominate outcomes. Where distribution falters, inequality deepens. Families with means compensate, while families without means are left behind. This is how inequality becomes systemic rather than accidental. Budget credibility, therefore, depends not only on what is procured, but on what reliably reaches our classrooms. Mr. Speaker, again, capital and infrastructure expenditure has grown at a faster rate over the same period, absorbing a dominant share of the budgetary expansion. Budgets are growing, Mr. Speaker, but classrooms are not improving at the same pace. Mr. Speaker, modern Caribbean education systems are now centered on smart classrooms, universal student access to laptops or tablets, strong digital connectivity, and well-paid, professionally supported teachers. These investments are deeply linked to improve the learning outcomes. In Guyana, however, too many schools still lack reliable electricity, water, sanitation, and basic maintenance. One cannot credibly speak of digital transformation when foundational learning conditions remain unmet. Mr. Speaker, increased spending alone has not translated into improved educational outcomes. If it had to be, we would have seen cleaner classrooms, safer learning environments, improved attendance, stronger discipline, and better examination results. Instead, the same structural problems persist year after year despite regular allocations. Mr. Speaker, Guyana is now an oil-producing state, and this reality demands a strategic shift in education policy. An oil-producing economy requires strong technical and vocational education, not just general instructions. These must be deliberate investments in engineering technicians, construction inspectors, survey technicians, and skilled trades alongside cutting-edge information technology, data, science, and artificial intelligence skills. These are essential to building capacity so that Guyanese can design, supervise, maintain, and audit national projects rather than relying indefinitely on external expertise. Mr. Speaker, until education is treated merely not as a line item, but as the central pillar of national development, increased budgets will continue to yield disappointing outcomes. If education is not first, Mr. Speaker, the future will be last. Mr. Speaker, labor. Growth without protection is not development. Mr. Speaker, this imbalance is particularly dangerous in an oil-producing economy. From 2021 to 2025, Guyana spent over $4 trillion, yet there is no corresponding investment strategy to build the human capital required to manage, supervise, and audit that spending. The estimates, Mr. Speaker, show limited and fragmented funding for engineering technicians, construction inspectors, and advanced technical training, even as capital projects multiply. Mr. Speaker, without deliberate investment in technical education, IT, and emerging AI-driven skills, Guyana's capacity will remain weak and the value will continue to leak out of the country. Mr. Speaker, if education prepares citizens for the economy, labor policies must determine how the economy treats with them. Guyana's growth trajectory is often described in superlative, but growth is not just self-justifying. It must be assessed by its social footprint. Public labor discourse, Mr. Speaker, today is not abstract. It is immensely practical. People are asking, Mr. Speaker, will job training lead to real jobs? Will wages keep pace with living costs? Will workplaces be safe and regulated? Mr. Speaker, skill development certificates versus careers. Mr.
For you
Speaker,
to continue along that career path, you need an extension.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the honourable member to be given 5 minutes to complete her presentation.
Thank you. Honorable member, you may continue to conclude.
Mr. Speaker, a matured economy protects its workers, not because it is charitable, but because it is rational. Mr. Speaker, the opposition's role in intellectual governance. It is the duty of the opposition not to echo optimism, but to discuss it. We are here to interrogate assumptions, expose gaps, and insist on evidence. We are here to distinguish ambition from achievement. We are here to remind the country that confidence without competence is noise. Mr. Speaker, this is why budgets must be accompanied by delivery frameworks, performance measures, and transparent reporting. Without these accountability, budgets become optional. Mr. Speaker, Guyana's opportunity is real. So is the danger of confusing momentum with mastery. Education must deliver learning, not just participation. Mr. Speaker, labor policy must deliver dignity, not just opportunity. Budgets must deliver results, not just reassurance. This opposition will not support what works. We will challenge what drifts, and we will not allow national ambition to outrun institutional capacity. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Minister of Finance stated that the budget is about building human capital for the future. Yet, the estimates show that education's share of spending has remained largely flat, while infrastructure allocations have surged. The numbers do not support. Mr. Speaker, development is not what dazzles in this chamber. Mr. Speaker, if education is not placed first, the future becomes last. Mr. Speaker, we have recognized it in this budget, and we are happy that they would have chosen what the APNU would have listed in their manifesto. But Mr. Speaker, look at this. In the budget, it says $85,000 per child. And when we break that down, Mr. Speaker, $60,000 on the cash grant is equivalent to $5,000 per month. Tell me, Mr. Speaker, is that able to maintain a child for one whole month? Mr. Speaker, the $25,000 transportation is equivalent to $2-point-something thousand, and when divided further, it is equal to $104, which is not even equivalent to one bus fare. Mr. Speaker, the government seeks to put people first, but when we look at what is happening, there is nothing about putting people first. It's only about putting themselves first. Mr. Speaker, a national budget cannot diversify or compete with the work of education work. May I remind us all, Mr. Speaker, classroom shapes the workforce. Mr. Speaker, if this government is serious about putting our children and teachers first, the answer is no. Mr. Speaker, when schools lack guidance, systems, and safe environments, social breakdown follows. Education is prevention, not just instruction. Mr. Speaker, again, this budget has not set out to continue. This budget is set out to continue its oppression of the ordinary Guyanese. I said to you on that side of the house, you are not putting people first. You are continuing to have your knees on the necks of ordinary people. Mr. Speaker, this budget has once again highlighted a national disgrace for this nation in the eyes of our Caribbean colleagues. This budget, Mr. Speaker, is about fluff, it's short, and it definitely is not putting people first. Mr. Speaker, and on that note, we will not support this budget in its form. Mr. Speaker, putting people first means putting people in every aspect. Putting people first means inclusivity. Putting people first means we must be able to enjoy equal benefits like every other Guyanese. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member, Ms. Coretta MacDonald. I now invite the Honorable Minister of Education, the Honorable Sonia Parag, to make her presentation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me first of all say how deeply honored I am to rise in this honorable house on the first budget of the next 5 years of the President Irfan Ali-led government. A budget that is crafted for the people, written by the people, and grounded firmly in realities, hopes, and aspirations of the Guyanese people. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to commend the Honorable Dr. Ashni Singh and his team. The team, the hard-working team from the Ministry of Education that has sit night after night to make sure that we have such a comprehensive budget. Mr. Speaker, each year, and this is my 7th budget, each year I stand here and I expect, as you know, that you never underestimate your opponent, so you prepare. You prepare. However, Mr. Speaker, I am standing here with 2 shadows, not one, 2 shadows that gave very unimpressive presentations this evening. Unimpressive. Mr. Speaker, let's just start with a few things. Let's start with a few things. You know, Mr. Speaker, when you hear all the loud noise, it is because they are affected somehow and they're tickled somewhere. Respond. So that's okay. Let's start. Let us start with the Honorable Member, Mr. Gordon, from one side of the House. Doctor. And let's start with the fact that the Honorable Member has sought to come to the House and attack the Guyana Online Academy of Learning program. A program that I, along with my colleague, the previous Education Minister, now Local Government and Regional Development Minister Manik Chan, launched on behalf of the President in 2021. And from 2021 to 2025, accomplished more than 54,000 Guyanese signing on to that program. With in 2025, about 6,000 of those Guyanese graduating. But you know what's more interesting, Mr. Speaker, is that the Honorable Member stood there and talked about the atrocity of this program. The atrocity of this program. But, Mr. Speaker, I'll share the profile of the Honorable Member because the Honorable Member got his degree from the Jane deemed to be university on the Guyana Online Academy of Learning. Shocking. 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 And has moved on to a PhD on the Guyana Online Academy of Learning. Shocking. Extremely shocking. You never ever bite the hand that you feed from. Isn't that the saying? The Honorable Member would have earned his qualifications that he stands in this National House so proudly of because he says doctor, and he got it from the Guyana Online Academy of Learning that he was fighting. He also sought to speak about the $7 billion that is allocated to the school feeding program. And Mr. Speaker, I'm going to be very straight up. I'm not going to AI it. I'm going to say this. The National School Feeding Program is one of the best initiatives that Guyana has ever seen for the children of this country. And you know why I say that, Mr. Speaker? Because tell it to the little child who's living in the hinterland and is walking to go to school. Tell it to the child who's in a rural area that they're not going to get a meal because the opposition said that it is a horrible initiative. Tell them that because those children attend that school knowing that they will be able to have a meal. They have a breakfast program and there's a hot meals program. And let me say this, there are more than 340-something caterers from the rural and hinterland communities that are working to ensure that we provide these meals for these children. Not only that, Mr. Speaker, these are ordinary men and women in the communities. Would that have ever been a program that you would have thought of? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So, Mr. Speaker, we come to this honorable House with one section of the opposition who had the opportunity for 5 years, from 2015 to 2020, to prove themselves, but now attack a program that has been highly beneficial to the children of this country. Highly beneficial. What is even more is that they zone in on a picture and they place it on social media and they say, look, and this is why I'm going to speak reality, and they say, look, this is what is being offered to the child. No time stamp on it. You don't know whether this is being checked the day after, 3 days later, if somebody's had it in their bag. No, but they want to be able to create a perception out there that is horrible. But let me say this, Mr. Speaker, because I want them to go into the communities and tell the children that they want the school feeding program to be scrapped, that they want the $7 billion out of this budget. No. Let them come and say that. Let them come and say that to the children of this country. Let them come and say that. Mr. Speaker, in our manifesto, which is a 5-year, we said that we're going to expand and we are going to look at the nutritional values of this program. That is exactly what we're sitting with the Carnegie School of Home Economics to do. And we are working with them to ensure that that happens. Now, Mr. Speaker, the honorable member also spoke of the TSC and glaring issues that they have. The Teaching Service Commission, and just for his edification, the Teaching Service Commission is an independent body separate from the Ministry of Education, and vacancies arises after their determination. They are a constitutional body. Thank you, the Honorable Gail Teixeira. 1,500 new senior vacancies have been identified and created by the TSC for 2026. So, Mr. Speaker, let's not talk about vacancies being created, etc. Because if the honorable members on that side of the House, and I specifically say there for now, if they were to look back at how many teachers they actually trained to fit into vacancies, it was woeful from 2015 to 2020. So let's not talk about promotions, let's not talk about vacancies being created. Mr. Speaker, the hinterland teachers do receive remote allowances. Allowances, station allowances, and hardship allowances. Mr. Speaker, that continues from 2026 and onwards into the next 5 years. Mr. Speaker, the honorable member said that he's not seeing a breakdown of the schools. But when we come to estimates in the following week, you'll have a breakdown of the schools and you will have the opportunity to ask your questions. That's when it will come. This is a budget debate presentation. This is a budget debate presentation. He talked about curriculum in the nursery and the primary schools. But let me say this, Mr. Speaker, that the curriculum in the primary schools, from nursery, primary to secondary schools, we have now incorporated, in addition to what existed, we have now incorporated moral and civic education, a manifesto promise of ours, something that is geared towards discipline, national identity and responsibility. And I will stop here. I will pause here, because when you are in secondary school and heading into secondary school, you're learning about what democracy is. Something that one side of the House knows nothing about, because in 2020, they held the country up for 5 months. We remember that. We remember that. We remember that. The very same people that are speaking about Constitution. The very same people. Right. Mr. Speaker, salary increases. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the teachers and salary increases. Mr. Speaker, there is a multi-year agreement that the ministry or the government of Guyana sat down with the Guyana Teachers Union and had collective agreement on the percentages for the years 2024, 2025, and 2026, which is still in existence. Agreed upon by both parties, and that is still in existence. Don't say that the government doesn't listen and the government isn't doing X, Y, Z. Mr. Speaker, what is even more? Let us look at the honorable member talking about the special education needs. This government has always been inclusive. We have always been inclusive, and we have included those persons with special needs and those with disabilities. And this is not a hallmark just of the 2025 government. It has been there for successive People's Progressive Party civic governments. Right now, we just completed the 49th send space or send school. And it is not called, and you know, I want to pause here. Anybody knows, Dr. Ashni Singh, you know what is a Yaz? You know what is a Yaz? Because I heard the honorable member said he saw the Yaz being opened. Sir, a Yaz is what an itch that you have on your toe or your foot. The Yas school, the Yas Special Education Needs School, derives its name from the jasmine flower. Derives its name from the jasmine flower. So I'd ask you to go and edify yourselves before you come to this honorable house. Now, the honorable member spoke about many things, but the one thing that he didn't speak about, the one thing that he did not speak about, is his own record for tardiness in the schools. Yes, I want you to pause. I want you to pause. The 8th of September, 45 minutes late. The 9th of September, 26 minutes late. The 10th of September, 20 minutes late. The 11th of September, 45 minutes late. The 15th of September, 40 minutes late. The 22nd of September, 55 minutes late. The 24th of September, 35 minutes late. The 26th of September, 45 minutes late. The 30th of September, 20 minutes late. Our children are being taught by someone who is in school and talking about education being the priority. You are the priority in the schools to ensure that our students learn. You are. You are. You are. Lead by example. Lead by example. Lead by example. Mr. Speaker, the Better for Walking Primary School, which seemed to be a hot topic in this house tonight. That school, I went to myself on several occasions, and we ensured that we had someone go to that school and fix the issues. But what is even more important, Mr. Speaker, is that I established a relationship with the president and the Parent Teachers Association, who on today's date can message me on any given day to say that this is what we're experiencing, and we go and we fix the issues from the Ministry of Education, because that's what the government of Guyana does. That's what the People's Progressive Party Civic does. We go and we fix issues once we know of them. Now you have schools, you have infrastructure, and I'm standing here and I'm not going to deny that there are issues with the infrastructure. They have issues with the infrastructure. I'm not going to deny that. But here's what, Mr. Speaker. Here is what, Mr. Speaker. Once an issue is reported to us, we will go and fix it. Now, each one of us live in a home, and that home may have a broken cupboard, it might have a broken window, it may get a broken washroom, and it needs fixing. It is the same concept with a school and another building that may have 400 children in it or 300 children using it every day, and it needs maintenance. That is a fact. But we are willing to fix it, Mr. Speaker, and that's why allocations are in this budget and in the regional budget. That's why it's there. That's why it's there. So don't come and make everything a problem. The breakdown school, it was spoken of how a state-of-the-art school was built and it had leaking. But Mr. Speaker, what they didn't come to tell you was that they already found out that the tap was left on a Friday and ran over on the weekend, and that is how it got wet. That's what they didn't tell you. But Mr. Speaker, they want to mislead the entire nation. They want to end. It is a ceiling, my dear. When it comes from the top, it goes into the ceiling. So understand how that works. Ceiling of the bottom flat. What is wrong with that? So that is what you need to understand. Now, Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Coretta McDonald, the Honorable member. You know, year after year I sat in this house as well and looked at the honorable member being the former shadow of education. And I've watched, honorable member, I want you to hear this. I have watched year after year wisdom chasing this honorable member, but she's always been too swift. Always been too swift. Always. Always. Expenditure is based on every fiscal year. We have a 5-year plan, and every fiscal year we invest money in that space to ensure that we will be able to deliver on our policies and our programs, beginning with 2026 for the next 5 years. 5 years. Mr. Speaker, she also commented on the budget, the budget of different years. Of course, they were wrong figures. All of the percentages were wrong. And this is the second largest budget. And it has always been the second largest budget because priority has always been placed on the education sector by the People's Progressive Party civic government. Always. And I want to remind the honorable member, I want to remind the honorable member of her own words, and this is the Guyana Times, September 18, 2018, when she made a statement and said that life for teachers under the People's Progressive Party civic is always better. Is always better, and I couldn't agree with her more. I couldn't agree with her more. So the honorable member herself spoke about that. Mr. Speaker, this particular member wisdom has always been too slow for her. Mr. Speaker, this government and the People's Progressive Party civic has worked to ensure in the last 5 years and again in 2026 that there is universal access to education. That means that we will necessarily have universal access in primary schools and secondary schools. When our administration returned to office in 2020, we continued where we left off in 2015, as not one single secondary school had been started or completed during the APNU-AFC tenure in government. Since then, we have advanced access to education through the construction of 66 nurseries, 34 primaries, and 33 secondary schools, major rehabilitation and expansion of 45 nurseries, 61 primaries, and 32 secondary schools. Mr. Speaker, my colleague and the former minister will be credited with a lot of the heavy lifting that was done from 2020 to 2025 in the education sector. We commenced the rehabilitation and expansion of 19 dormitories towards ensuring that our students have a safe and comfortable environment while accessing education. We reduce overcrowding with new classrooms, laboratories, and learning pieces. Mr. Speaker, Guyana has already secured universal access to primary education, and with the completion of several key secondary schools in 2026, we will achieve universal access to secondary education. And that is a huge benefit. In 2026, this government has allocated 24.3 billion to complete more than 40 schools across Guyana, while continuing rehabilitation and maintenance of existing facilities. Mr. Speaker, a significant focus of expansion remains our hinterland and riverine communities. And these are for our Amerindian brothers and sisters. The Minister of Amerindian Affairs is here. I want her to hear. Regions 1, 7, 8, and 9. We will have Quebana, Hosororo, Warramuri, Matthews Ridge, Jawala, Philippi, Isano, Karau, Monkey Mountain, Maikobi, Kopinang, Napi, Masara, Marawano, Tabachinga, Karasabai, Katoka, Yupakari, Karaudano, and Shulinab. And these together will provide 6,760 new secondary spaces, bringing quality secondary education closer to home for thousands of children across Guyana.
That's correct.
Mr. Speaker, tertiary education. Education is treated as a continuous journey from nursery to tertiary. Talent must never be wasted because of cost or of distance. Over $3 billion in university student loans have been written off for more than 4,000 students. More than 4,000 students, pay attention. $3 billion of student loan has been written off. Tuition fees at the University of Guyana were abolished, making the University of Guyana free of cost from January of 2025. Since the tuition was removed, UG applications rose from 26,000 to over 26,000 in 2025 to 2026. Applications were only 17,800 in the previous academic year. When that cost was removed, ambition rose. The University of Guyana receives in the 2026 allocation $14.5 billion. Higher education is now being decentralized from Georgetown. Medicine and engineering programs are expanding to regions 2, 3, and 6. $1 billion is allocated for this expansion in 2026. 130 students are already enrolled in new engineering programs. Higher education should not be a tongue privilege alone, Mr. Speaker, or an urban privilege. It must be extended to the rural and the hinterland areas. Tertiary education supports health, infrastructure, and workforce development. Training Guyanese professionals is a national development policy for the People's Progressive Party Civic. And as per manifesto promise going back to the Gold Scholarship, from 2026, there will be an unlimited number of students being placed on that program, approved on that program. Mr. Speaker, just last, 14,064 scholarships were awarded on the program. These span the full range of opportunities, including 4,960 vocational certificates, 4,452 Grow Awards, and 1,761 master's degree, amongst others. Mr. Speaker, one of the best initiatives that the People's Progressive Party Civic has implemented is the Because We Care cash grant to every child, every school child, or every child registered in the school system. In 2020, and let's go back, the Honorable Coretta McDonald spoke about the $85,000 and she broke it down and said it was not enough. I mean, could you believe that? The very same honorable member who is a part of an administration that from 2015 to 2020, not removed, they snatched that cash grant away from children. Snatched it and comes to this honorable house and did not put any other thing in place that compares to that. Stands in this honorable house and says to this honorable house, that's not enough. But we promise the people, based on our 5-year plan, that we will restore it and we will increase it to $50,000 for that grant and $5,000 uniform grant, making it $55,000. And we also extended it to the private schools. In 2025, we campaigned on a promise that we will not only maintain that, but we will increase it over the 5 years to $100,000 per a child in private and public schools. Introducing as well in 2026 a transportation grant for the benefit of these children, starting from 2026, $20,000, making it from 2026 and in this year's budgetary allocation of over $12 billion, the sum of $85,000 per a child. Do you know what that means to a single parent who has one child? Who has more than one child? Do you have any idea what that means to that parent? I don't think you do, because you would have never taken it away from 2015 to 2020. You would have never done that. But we are a government that doesn't take away, we add. we add value to people's lives. In addition to that, this government also ensured that there was a grant that was given to teachers. I heard the honorable member standing in this house and saying that teachers are forced to purchase from their own pockets. And it is because parents and teachers reached out to us and said we didn't want to do that, that we want to be able to have that a cash or a grant and have the necessary items in our school be provided for. This government and the People's Progressive Party civic government was caring enough and compassionate enough to ensure that that happened by giving those teachers that grant. By giving those teachers that grant. And that will be maintained in this year's budget and the next 5 years. $17 billion was placed, $17.5 billion. And this is what I want, this is the point I want to make, Mr. Speaker. That when a mother, whether it's a single mother or you have a nuclear family, and they have a budget to work with, or they have an income, they have to budget that income every month to make it work. To make it work. You'll put aside XYZ for your purchase of food items, whatever it is. Now, Mr. Speaker, it is the same way a country has to operate, because you have to have sustainability. You have to have sustainability. If you are going to give a grant to children, you have to ensure that next year and the next 4 years that you are able to do so. We are not a government that will take all the oil resources, hand it out, and then next week and the following week and next year you have absolutely nothing to get. You have nothing to get. You have to manage it. You have to manage it, and that's exactly why we are having, that's exactly why we placed in a budget that was carefully crafted to ensure for sustainability and prosperity of our citizens. That is why. Mr. Speaker, in 2020, from the Because We Care cash grant alone, 13,000 students benefited from this cash grant. 13,000. Families will save over $850 million. $850 million just because of the fact that this government has placed that direct cash transfer into their hands. This is putting people first. This is putting our children first. Mr. Speaker, in addition to direct cash transfers, we've also made available resources such as textbooks or access to textbooks to all the students in our primary and secondary level.
Your primary
Mr. Speaker,
30 minutes is up. You have an extension to conclude.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to ask that the honourable member be given 5 minutes more to
Mr.
conclude.
Speaker, coming into office in 2025, within his 100 days of being in office, the President launched the Guyana Digital School, a flagship program for modernizing the education sector. This will benefit every single student from grades 7 to 11 in the secondary schools, ensuring that the content and the teaching that they will receive will reassure and ensure their success at the CSEC exams. And Mr. Speaker, this is not just to modernize our education sector, but it's also giving access to those areas within which we were not able to do before. It is giving access, and that is what this government, the hallmark of this government in the education sector is about, ensuring that we give access to all of our children. Now, Mr. Speaker, it provides free, high-quality secondary education aligned with the national curriculum. Instruction is delivered by quality teachers through modern digital platforms. And in its first month, more than 22,000 students registered from Guyana as well as our CARICOM countries, other CARICOM countries. We have mathematics, English, biology, chemistry, physics, social studies, IT, and Spanish. Mr. Speaker, in addition to all of these interventions, which we will be maintaining in 2020 with the budget that has been allocated to us, we are going to ensure as well that we continue the maths intervention program. And this is very important because we talk about the outcome and learning outcomes. The maths intervention program has allowed Guyana, and as a matter of fact, the interventions that have been made in the last 5 years through financial resources as well as other resources has enabled Guyana in 2025 to be the top performing country in the Caribbean at CSEC. With the maths intervention program, we were able to have a 5% improvement in mathematics. Do you know what that means? Do you know what that means? It means over 500 students more were able to pass mathematics. That's what it means. Now in September of 2025, we expanded that program to 18 locations and 18 schools in the hinterland area to ensure that they have access to it, to ensure that they have access to that program. So, Mr. Speaker, there are many things that's happening. In November of 2025, under my leadership, I ensure that we launch the anti-bullying and anti-violence campaign for schools. The anti-bullying and anti-violence campaign for schools. And the honorable member spoke the other day, just before me. She spoke about a video that was circulating just after I went to Zeeburg School. And I want to say that that video was from 4 years ago. So let's not come to this honorable house and mislead the people of Guyana. Let's not come. But you know what, Mr. Speaker? If instead of calling out the Ministry of Education for bullying, why don't we? Because it's not a Ministry of Education problem alone. It is a national issue, and it is an issue that needs to be dealt with by all categories of this country, all categories of persons from this country. So, Mr. Speaker, we have many interventions that are here, but Mr. Speaker, in the next year, you will see the allocations. And I want to say, as the geographic MP for region number 5, there will be a new school being built in Bath Experiment, to take off the overcrowding of the Bath Primary School. What is even more is that Region 5 remains the largest agricultural producing region in this country and contributes heavily to food security under the leadership of our president. So, Mr. Speaker, education is poised to continue its progress. We will see the outcomes for our children. We will see the development for our children. We will see the improvements for our teacher, the improvements for our infrastructure, and we will also see safer environment in which it will be conducive for them to learn. So, Mr. Speaker, with that, I thank you very much for the presentation of Budget 2026.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Education, Minister Sonia Paral. I now invite for his maiden presentation the Honorable Member, Mr. Dion LaCruz. Honorable Member, the time starts now.
Mr. Speaker, as I rise, to contribute to the debate on Budget 2026 under the theme, Putting People First, I extend respectful greeting to you and to all the honorable members in this house. and to the people of Guyana, especially to the people in Region 1 who's watching right now. People from Baramita, Kaituma, Matthew Stridge, Whitewater, Komaka, Mabruma, and not forgetting my people in Muruka, whose voice I am privileged to amplify in this house. Mr. Speaker, I stand today as a proud descendant of the first people hailing from a great resilient people of Muruka. Region 1, I pay homage to my ancestors for being such a strong and enduring people. I take great pride in joining the great line of parliamentarians from my people, starting with the Honorable Mr. Stephen Campbell in the year 1957. Mr. Speaker, the budget is strongly disappointing in communities across Guyana. A single and painful question continue to echo. For whom this budget is designed? Does it lift the many, or does it further enrich the few? We must judge it by whether it is narrow between the wealth and hardship, and not by slogan. Time is limited, Mr. Speaker, so I will focus on the reality on the ground in Region 1. A caring and a strong government will present a budget that directly tackles the soaring cost of living. Yet there is no credible plan to ease the hardship in the hinterland communities, where the cost of food, transportation, building materials, and necessities is far higher on the coast. How then Budget 2026 is putting the people first and the people of Region 1? Healthcare remains one of the most pressing failures in Muruka. And to my people who's watching in Muruka, you know this is a reality, right? The Komaka District Hospital, yes, I repeat, the Komaka District Hospital, right, where millions and millions of dollars has been spent at the Komaka District Hospital, and yet there is no proper mortuary. You have to lock the mortuary with a battery, Mr. Speaker. You want to say it again? All right. They don't have no proper mortuary in the Komaka District Hospital. Basic health care service remain. At the regional level, many residents still cannot receive treatment, common and serious condition, and must be referred to Lima or Georgetown. Mr. Speaker, if people must travel to Lima in Region 2 for emergency care through rough boats, can we honestly say that the regional hospital is functioning as it should? The situation becomes even more alarming, Mr. Speaker. In emergencies, in urgent medical cases, there is no reliable medevac system. People are forced to travel for hours by river and again rough boats before receiving urgent care. Ministers can fly in and out of Muruka